In the last lesson, we discussed addition and subtraction of real numbers. In this lesson, we will see how to multiply and divide real numbers. Multiplying and dividing real numbers. Now, we will use the following rules for multiplying and dividing real numbers. Rule number 1, multiplication by 0. What do you get if you multiply a number by 0? Multiplying any number with 0 always gives you 0. For any real number x, x multiplied by 0 is 0. Or 0 multiplied by x is 0. Multiplying any real number with 0 will always give you the result 0. Rule number 2. The product of a positive number and a negative number is negative. You multiply a positive number with a negative number, or a negative number with a positive number, the result will be always negative. Negative 2 multiplied by positive 4 is negative 8. Positive 5 multiplied by negative 4 is negative 20. Multiplying a positive number with a negative number, or a negative number with a positive number, always gives you a negative number. Alright, important result. 0 multiplied by negative 2 is 0. 0 multiplied by any real number is always 0. Negative 5 multiplied by 10 is negative 50. The product of two negative numbers is positive. That is your third rule. You multiply two negative numbers, it will give you a positive result. Negative 2 multiplied by negative 3 is positive 6. Negative 5 multiplied by negative 3 is positive 15. Negative 4 multiplied by negative 5 is positive 20. A negative number multiplied by a negative number gives you a positive number. But again, I warn you, don't confuse this with adding negative numbers. I have had many students asking me this over and over again, and that is why I emphasize this. Negative 4 multiplied by negative 5 is positive 20, but negative 4 minus 5, is this the same? Negative 4 minus 5 is not the same as negative 4 times negative 5. This is the property of double negative. This is adding two negative numbers will give you negative 9. Is that right? Negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. Whereas negative 4 multiplied by negative 5 is positive 20. Alright, let's move on. Every real number except 0 has a reciprocal. What is the meaning of a reciprocal? Well, the reciprocal of 3 is 1 over 3. The reciprocal of 4 over 5 is 5 over 4. The reciprocal is obtained by inverting the number. The reciprocal of negative 2/3 is negative 3 over 2. Right? Okay. Number 5, dividing a real number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. Well, that is something that is very important. Dividing by a real number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. In other words, 3 divided by 5 is the same as 3 multiplied by 1 over 5. You remember we did this in lesson 1. When you want to divide, you can change the division to a multiplication by inverting the second number. What is the inverse of 5? It's 1 over 5. So change the division to a multiplication and take the reciprocal of 5. 3 divided by 5 is the same as 3 multiplied by 1 over 5. 8 divided by 2/5 equal to 8 multiplied by 5 over 2. Okay? You know this already. And now you can see the 2 goes in 8 how many times? 2 goes in 8 4 times. So what is this equal to? 4 times 5 is 20. So 8 divided by 2/5 is 8 multiplied by 5 over 2. Simplifying that gives us the answer as 20. Let's try this. 4/3 divided by negative 2/5. Now, what will happen? Change the division to a multiplication and use the reciprocal of negative 2/5. What is the reciprocal of negative 2/5? The reciprocal of negative 2/5 is negative 5 over 2. So 4 over 3 divided by negative 2/5 is 4 over 3 multiplied by negative 5 over 2. Now, you are now multiplying a positive number with a negative number. Look at the way I use the parenthesis there. If you don't use the parenthesis, you will read it as 3 over 4 minus 5 over 2. When you multiply by a negative number, always put that in a parenthesis. Now, a positive number multiplied by a negative number will give you a negative answer. So, I'm going to take that negative and put it here. In other words, positive multiplied by a negative is negative. And now, this will be now 4/3 multiplied by 5 over 2. I hope you understand how that negative became here. It made the whole number negative. Alright, now you can simplify. 2 goes in 4 how many times? 2 times. My numerator now is 10, denominator is 3, and the number is negative. So that's equal to negative 10 over 3. That is negative 3 and 1/3. Okay, another one. A real number, that is property number 6. A real number cannot be divided by 3. A real number cannot be divided by 0. Now, why can't a real number be divided by 0? Let me see if I can show that to you. Now, suppose I want to divide a number like, say, I want to divide 2 by 0.1. Can you tell me what that is? 2 divided by 0.1. What is the meaning of division anyway? What is 10 divided by 2? What is the meaning of that? Now, 10 divided by 2 means you are asking how many 2's are in 10. How many 2's are in 10? 5. Now, here you are asking how many 0.1's are in 2. Do you know how many 0.1's are in 2? How many point ones are in 1? Remember, a point 1 means 1/10. And there are 10 of those in 1. So how many point ones are in 2? There are 20. So 2 divided by point 1 is 20. Do you have any trouble understanding this? Well, see, look at this on the right side. 2 divided by point 1. I can do this by making the denominator a whole number by moving the decimal one place to the right. When this decimal moves one place to the right, this becomes 1. And do the same on the top. Move the decimal one place to the right, this becomes 20. So 2 over 0.1 is 20 over 1, which is 20. Alright? Now tell me, what is 2 divided by 0.01? In other words, now I am asking how many hundredths are there in 2? How many hundredths are there? There are 200 of those. 2 divided by 0.01 is 200. Alright, anybody tell me what this is? 2 divided by Now, 2 divided by 0.5 zeros and 1. What will be that? You see, 2 divided by 0.10 and 1 is 200. What will be 2 divided by 0.5 zeros and 1? It will be 2 and 6 zeros. Is that right? Yes. That will be 2 million. Now what I want you to understand is, as the denominator gets smaller and smaller, what happens to the result? The results become bigger and bigger. So you divide a number by a small number. As the number on the denominator gets smaller and smaller, the results become bigger and bigger. Can you now tell me, what will be 2 divided by I'm not even counting. Now, I'm going to write a number on the denominator which is very, 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 very small. Very small. Close to 0. You see, very small means close to 0, but this is still greater than 0. What will be the value of this? Now, the only thing I can say that this will be very large. And therefore, can you imagine, as the denominator gets smaller and smaller, still smaller, the results get very, very, very large. That means, ultimately, if the denominator happens to become 0, the result will be so huge, it is beyond our imagination. We say such a number does not exist. You cannot divide a real number by 0. Dividing a real number by 0 will be so huge, nobody can even comprehend it. You see that? Okay, I hope you understood a bit of what I said. A real number cannot be divided by 0. Dividing a real number by 0 does not give you a real number. It will be so huge, we don't know what it is. Therefore, division by 0 is undefined. Division by 0 is undefined. Alright? 8 divided by 0 is undefined. On the other hand, dividing 0 by any real number will always give you 0. Alright? That's understandable. We have 0 pizza here. and I want to divide it among 40 of us. There are 40 students in the class, and including me there's 41. And how many pizzas do I have here? 0. I'm going to divide that into 41. How much pizza did you get? Well, I have no pizza here, so dividing 0 by any real number will always give you 0. 0 divided by 5 is 0. 0 divided by -10 is 0. So, did you understand these two concepts? While a real number cannot be divided by 0, it doesn't give you any result. 0 divided by any number will always be 0. What is the value of 0 divided by 0? Well, that is undefined, because no real number can be divided by 0. You see, while 0 divided by -10 is 0, 0 divided by 0 is undefined. When the numerator of a rational expression is 0, its value is 0. Now, let me ask you this. I say x divided by, well, 0 divided by x equal to, no, let me revise my writing. X divided by 5 equal to 0. Suppose I give you this and ask you, what is the value of x? You see? You know that 0 divided by any number is 0. The only way a rational number like this, a fraction, this is called a fraction, or a rational number, is that right? A over b. A rational number, the only way a rational number can be equal to 0 is that the numerator is 0. So if x over 5 equal to 0, it means x equal to 0. Okay, let's go on. Another property, the quotient of two numbers of the same sign is positive. What is the meaning of a quotient? A quotient is one number divided by another number. A positive number divided by a positive number will be positive. Similarly, a negative number divided by a negative number will also be positive. The quotient of two numbers of the same sign is always positive. The quotient of two numbers of different signs will be negative. Now, plus 5 divided by positive 2 is positive 5 over 2. Quotient of two numbers of the same sign will be positive. Similarly, negative 5 divided by negative 2 is positive 5 over 2. In the same way, a negative number multiplied by a negative number is positive. A negative number divided by a negative number is positive. Negative 5 divided by negative 2 is positive 5 over 2. On the other hand, 5 divided by negative 2 is negative 5 over 2. A positive number divided by a negative number is negative. Now, how about negative 5 divided by positive 2? A negative number divided by a positive number is negative. So, I want you to look at this carefully. Negative 5 over 2, I told you this before, can be written as 5 over negative 2 or negative 5 over positive 2. Both these equal to negative 5 over 2. Now, negative 7 over 3 can be written as negative 7 over positive 3, or positive 7 divided by negative 3. Both these equal to negative 7 over 3. A negative number divided by a positive number is negative. A positive number divided by a negative number is negative. Alright, so one more time. Negative 7 over 3 equal to negative 7 over positive 3 is the same as positive 7 over negative 3. Find the product negative 9 multiplied by negative 4. A negative number multiplied by a negative number will give you a positive result. Okay, so negative 9 multiplied by negative 4 is positive 36. Okay, another one. Find the product. Negative 5 over 4 multiplied by, look at that, the parenthesis says multiplied by negative 5 over 8. When you want to multiply with a negative number, put that inside a parenthesis. So negative 5 over 4 multiplied by negative 5 over 8. The first thing you notice, a negative number multiplied by a negative number is a positive number. So multiplying these two numbers, the negatives will disappear. You see that? Negative 5 over 4 times negative 5 over 8 is positive 5 over 4 times 5 over 8. And that will be 5 times 5 divided by 4 times 8. That is 25 over 32. Alright? Okay, let's do another one. Find the product of 3 over 7 times, look at that again, multiplied by, in parentheses, negative 1 and 5 over 9. A positive number multiplied by a negative number will give you a negative result. Alright, so I can now write it like this. 3 over 7 times negative 1 and 5 over 9 will give you a negative result equal to negative 3 over 7 times 1 and 5 over 9. You notice that when I move that negative and put it there, I don't need a parenthesis there anymore. Why did I need a parenthesis here? Because if I don't use the parenthesis there to indicate multiplication, it will look like this, 3 over 7 minus 1 and 5 over 9. So when you multiply with a negative number, always use a parenthesis. Alright, how do we do this? Negative 3 over 7 times 1 and 5 over 9. Well, we need to convert the mixed number into an improper fraction. So that will be negative 3 over 7 times 9 times 1 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. So that is negative 3 over 7 times 14 over 9. Well, you know, you can simplify this by factoring, or you know how to simplify this. Let's factor it. It will be negative 3 over 7 times 14 can be factored as 7 times 2, and the 9 can be factored as 3 times 3. Now cancel the common factors. 7 goes with 7 on the numerator. The 3 on the denominator goes with 3 on the numerator. The result therefore is negative 2 over 3. Alright? Now most of you would prefer, I know, to do like this in this step. 7 goes in 14 2 times. and 3 on the top will go in 9 3 times, and that gives you the result right away, negative 2 over 3, which is the same as factoring the numbers and cancelling the common factors. Okay, let's do another simple question that we have actually done before. Find all integer factors of 50. Now, this is a review, is that right? Find all integer factors of 50. Now, you need to figure out what is the smallest number you can divide 50 by. What is the smallest number you can divide 50 by? By 2. Alright, so 50 can be divided by 2. Alright, what do you get dividing 50 by 2? 50 divided by 2 is 25. What can you now divide 25 by? 25 can be divided, it cannot be divided by 2, it cannot be divided by 3, it can be divided by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5, and 5 can only be divided by 5, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So what are the integer factors of 50? 50 is 2 times 5 times 5. There you are. Alright, find the quotient negative 35 divided by negative 7. Well, a negative number divided by a negative number is a positive number. Is that right? Quotient of 2 negative numbers is positive. Therefore, negative 35 divided by negative 7 is 35 over 7. What is 35 over 7? 7 goes in 35. Well, 35 can be written as 5 times 7. So that is 5 times 7 divided by 7. Cancel the common factors. That gives you 5. Well, you didn't have to go through these steps. I take you through these basic steps in every problem. But you know 35 divided by 7 is 5. Let's do another one. Find the quotient. Negative 5 over 6 divided by negative 15 over 7. Dividing a negative number by a negative number will give you a positive number. Quotient of 2 negative numbers is positive. That means negative 5 over 6 divided by negative 15 over 7 becomes positive 5 over 6 divided by positive 15 over 7. You see, double negative, multiplying 2 negative numbers or dividing 2 negative numbers gives you a positive number. Now, what do we do to do our division? Change the division to a multiplication and write the reciprocal of the second number. So that will be 5 over 6 multiplied by 15 over 7 now becomes its reciprocal 7 over 15. And now factor the numbers. You need only factor the 15. That will be 5 over 6 times 7 over 3 times 5. Now why did I do that? So that I can cancel the common factors. 5 goes with 5, leaving a 7 on the numerator and 6 times 3, 18 on the denominator. The answer is 7 over 18. I hope you can do these kind of problems without making a mistake. Okay, let's do another one. Find the quotient 0 divided by negative 8. 0 divided by any number is 0. So what is 0 divided by negative 8? 0 divided by negative 8 is 0. Alright, how about this? 8 divided by 0. A real number divided by 0. What will you get? Well, the result will be so huge, unimaginable. We call it undefined. 8 divided by 0 is undefined. Any real number divided by 0 is undefined. Okay? Another one. Simplify. Negative 9 minus 4 in parentheses multiplied by negative 2. Look at that. Multiplied by negative 2. Plus 10. What do you do first? First simplify inside this parenthesis. What is negative 9 minus 4? Let's see how many of you can do that quickly. Negative 9 minus 4. Adding two negative numbers. Negative 9 minus 4 is negative 13. Again, don't confuse it with multiplication. We are not multiplying negative 9 with negative 4. When you multiply two negative numbers, it becomes positive. When you add two negative numbers, you simply add the numbers and use the negative sign. So negative 9 minus 4 is negative 13. There you are. So do this first. This will be negative 13. And now you need to multiply that with negative 2. And then plus 10. So this is our first step. What is our next step? Multiply these two numbers. Negative 13 multiplied by negative 2. Now here we are multiplying. Multiplying a negative number with a negative number will make it positive. So negative 13 multiplied by negative 13 is positive 26 plus 10, and that will be 36. Okay, let's move on. Simplify. 8 minus 9 in parentheses multiplied by 4 minus 12. Well, we simplify inside the parenthesis in each case. Alright, what is 8 minus 9? 8, positive 8 minus 9 will be negative 1. Is that right? 8 minus 1 is negative 1. What is 4 minus 12? 4 minus 12 will be negative 8. So this will be now negative 1 multiplied by negative 8. Multiplying two negative numbers will give you a positive number. Negative 1 multiplied by negative 8 is positive 8. So that will be 1 multiplied by 8. That's equal to 8. Okay? Another one. Simplify. 4 times negative 8. You see how to read it? 4 times negative 8 plus absolute value of 4 minus 15. Alright, what is the first thing to do? In the first step here, a positive number is multiplied by a negative number. What will be the result? A positive number multiplied by a negative number will be negative. So this will be negative 32. Now inside the absolute value, you have 4 minus 15. Tell me, what is 4 minus 15? We need to work it out now. 4 minus 15. Positive 4 minus 15 is negative 11. And what is the absolute value of negative 11? Absolute value cannot be negative. Absolute value of negative 11 is positive 11. Alright, so this will be 4 times negative 8 is negative 32 plus absolute value of 4 minus 15 is negative 11. And that is negative 32 plus absolute value of negative 11 is positive 11. Okay, tell me now, what is negative 32 plus 11? Negative 32 plus 11. When you want to add a negative number to a positive number, find the difference between the two numbers and give the result the sign that was with the bigger number. The difference between 32 and 11 is 21. So the result will be negative 21. Negative 32 plus 11 is negative 21. Okay? Another one. Simplify. Negative 12 times negative 5. You need to read this correctly. So the numerator says negative 12 multiplied by negative 5. Can you read the denominator? What does that say? 7 minus negative 5. Alright. Now on the numerator you are multiplying a negative number with a negative number. What is negative 12 multiplied by negative 5? That will be positive 60. And on the denominator, 7 minus negative 5. A negative sign followed by a negative sign. Double negative. It becomes positive. 7 minus negative 5 is 7 plus 5. So 60 divided by 7 plus 5 is 12. What is 60 divided by 12? 60 can be factored as 5 times 12. 5 times 12 is 60. And the 12 goes. The answer is 5. Okay, let's do another one. Simplify. Negative 13 multiplied by negative 4. Look at that. That's the product. What's the meaning of a product? Multiply. Negative 13 multiplied by negative 4 minus negative 8 multiplied by negative 2. Again, the product of two negative numbers. All over. Negative 10 multiplied by 2 minus 4 times negative 2. Okay. Do the multiplication first. What are the things to be multiplied? Let's identify the things that are being multiplied. We are multiplying negative 13 by negative 4. That's one multiplication. Minus. Multiply negative 8 by negative 2. The second multiplication. On the denominator, multiply negative 10 by 2. Another multiplication. Minus, leave that alone, subtract, and multiply 4 with negative 2. You see? Okay, so let's try that. That will be negative 13 multiplied by negative 4. A negative number multiplied by a negative number is positive. That's positive 52. And now followed by this negative sign, and this is that negative sign. And now, what is negative 8 multiplied by negative 2? That's positive 16. So, this will be 52 minus 16. Very well. Okay, come down to the denominator. Negative 10 times 2. What is negative 10 multiplied by 2? Will be negative 20. Negative number multiplied by a positive number. Now, followed by minus. What is 4 multiplied by negative 2? See that? 4 multiplied by negative 2 is negative 8. And now, on the denominator, you have a negative followed by a negative. Subtract negative becomes positive. So that is, on the numerator, 52 minus 16. What is 52 minus 16? 36. And on the denominator, you have negative 20 minus negative 8 become positive plus 8. And that is 36 divided by, alright, what is negative 20 plus 8? Negative 20 plus 8. Find the difference between the two numbers. That will be 12, and the sign will be the sign of the bigger number. So negative 20 plus 8 will be negative 12. Tell me, what is 36 divided by negative 12? A positive number divided by a negative number will be a negative number. Look at that. 36 divided by negative 12 is negative 36 over 12. And 36 can be factored as 3 times 12. So that will be negative 3 times 12 divided by 12. And the 12s will cancel. The result is negative 3. Okay? Another one. Find the value of the expression 5x minus 2y multiplied by negative 2a when x equal to 6, y equal to negative 4, and a equal to 3. You have an expression given. We need to find the value of that expression using the given values of the variables. What do? You simply replace the variables by their value. In other words, replace this x by 6, replace this y by negative 4, and replace this a by 3. Now, whenever you replace a variable by a number, put that in a parenthesis so that you can identify there was a variable sitting there before, now I have its value. So, 5x minus 2y in parenthesis multiplied by negative 2a. Replace the values. Look at the way I have done that. In place of x, I have now 6. So I put that 6 in parenthesis, showing that I need to multiply this 5 with that 6. 5x means 5 times x. When x is replaced by 6, it becomes 5 times 6. Minus 2 times y. In place of y, I have negative 4. And I use a bracket to group that. In the next one, I have negative 2 multiplied by a. A is 3. Alright, let's now do these multiplications. 5 times 6. Alright, 5 times 6 is 30. This minus sign, leave it as it is. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. So inside that square bracket, you have 5 times 6 is 30 minus 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Now, times, what is negative 2 times 3? Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Alright, now you have a double negative here. Use the double negative property inside there. 30 minus negative 8 becomes 30 plus 8. Isn't that simple? 30 minus negative 8 becomes 30 plus 8. So, inside that parenthesis, you have 30 plus 8, and that is multiplied by negative 6. And we cannot multiply until we add inside the parenthesis. We do that now. Simplify inside the parenthesis. That will be 30 plus 8 is 38 multiplied by negative 6. 38 multiplied by negative 6. A positive number multiplied by a negative number will give you a negative result. What is 38 multiplied by negative 6? That will be negative 38 times 6. That will be negative 228. Alright? Now, I want you to do this now on your own before moving on. You got to hit pause and do this on your own. Make sure that you can get this result. Okay? That's the way to learn. Another one. Find the value of this expression xy plus 8a all over x minus y when x equal to 6, y equal to negative 4 and a equal to 3. What do you do here again? Replace each variable by its value. xy plus 8a over x minus y. X equal to 6, y equal to negative 4. So x times y becomes 6 times negative 4. Look at the way it has to be put in a parenthesis. You don't have to put 6 in a parenthesis, but negative 4 has to be in a parenthesis. So xy, 6 times negative 4, plus 8 times a. A is 3. 8 times 3 all over x minus y. X is 6, y is negative 4. So what does x minus y become? Will be 6 minus negative 4. Alright, and now 6 times negative 4 is negative 24, plus 8 times 3 is 24, divided by the double negative on the denominator. 6 minus negative 4 becomes 6 plus 4. Alright, what is my numerator? Negative 24 plus 24. The numerator is 0. So you get 0 divided by 10. What is 0 divided by 10? 0 divided by any real number is always 0. So that result is 0. Okay, let's try another one. Write a numerical expression and simplify. 3 subtracted from the product of 4.2 and negative 8.5. You see, always remember when you are asked to subtract something from something else, that from is on the left, minus then the number. So what you have been told to do here is subtract something from something else. Look at this. Subtract something from what? From the product of 4.2 and negative 8.5. So what you will have here is the product of 4.2 and negative 8.5. So how will I write it there? What is the product of 4.2? Look at that. 4.2 and negative 8.5. So this is how you write product 4.2 times negative 8.5. Get that result and then subtract 3 from there. 3 subtracted from. So subtract 3 from the product. of 4.2 and negative 8.5. Alright, let's get on with it. Product of 4.2 and negative 8.5 is this 4.2 times negative 8.5. Now, can you do this for me? I hope you can multiply these numbers. A positive multiplied by a negative will be negative. Do you want me to show you how to multiply these numbers? 4.2 times 8.5. Alright, look at this. 4.2. Forget about the negative. We will deal with that later. Alright, 5 times 2 is 10. Carry 1. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 1 is 21. 8 times 2 is 16. Carry 1. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33. That is 0. 6 plus 1 is 7. 3 plus 2 is 5. Now, in the multiplying numbers, there are a total of 2 decimal places. Therefore, the answer must have 2 decimal places. So start from 0, 1, 2, and put your decimal right there. That will be 35.7. And since one number is positive and the other is negative, the result will be negative. Alright? Okay. So 4.2 times negative 8.5 is the product of the two numbers, and subtract 3 from there. 3 is subtracted from there. Alright? And that is multiplying a positive number with a negative number will give the results negative. That is negative 4.2 times 8.5 minus 3. And we just multiplied this. That will be negative 35.7 minus 3. Alright, how many of you can get that result done? Negative 35.7 minus 3. Since both are negative, add the two numbers and use the negative sign. That will be negative 38.7. Alright? Okay, another one. Write a numerical expression and simplify. 3/4 of the sum of negative 8 and 12. Okay. First of all, concentrate on this. What is the sum of negative 8 and 12? The sum of negative 8 and 12. Well, it means negative 8 added to 12. The sum of negative 8 and 12 is negative 8 plus 12. Alright? 3/4 of this sum, what does that mean? 3/4 of this sum means 3/4 of means multiply. What is 3/4 of x? Is 3/4 x. So 3/4 of the sum is 3/4 multiplied by that sum, negative 8 plus 12. What is negative 8 plus 12? Negative 8 plus 12 is 12 minus 8, that is 4. So 3/4 of 4 is 3/4 times 4. And you can see the 4 and the 4 cancels. The answer is 3. Alright? You have now a number of skills in multiplying and dividing real numbers. Another one. Write a numerical expression and simplify. The product of negative 3 and the difference between 3 and negative 7. You are told you need to find a product. A product is multiplying one quantity with another quantity. So it's always better to do this. Product. You say, I need to find the product of the two quantities. So use these parentheses to indicate your first quantity, then the second quantity. Now, you want to find the product of what and what? Product of -3, so your -3 will be in the first number. So write -3 there. And what else? What must be inside here? The difference between 3 and -7. What is the difference between 3 and -7? The difference between two numbers is the first number minus the second number. The difference between 3 and -7 is 3 minus -7. So, the difference between 3 and -7 is 3 minus -7. So now, you need to find the product of -3 and the difference between 3 and -7. Let's complete this before I pull down my steps. Now that will be -3 times, what is 3 minus -7? Double negative becomes 3 plus 7. Well, and that will be -3 times 3 plus 7 is actually 10. And what is -3 times 10? And -3 times 10 is -30. Is that right? Yes. So that will be -30. Now, you must be able to do problems like this by talking about it. You see, one more time. The product of, when you hear that word product of, it is one quantity multiplied by another quantity. So, start like this. Now, what is the first quantity? Product of -3. Write that there. What is the second quantity? The second quantity is the difference between 3 and -7. The difference between 3 and -7 is 3 minus -7. Alright? And now, that will be, you don't now need that parenthesis anymore. -3 multiplied by, you need that parenthesis. What is this quantity? 3 minus -7 is 3 plus 7. So, -3 times 3 plus 7 is -3 times 10, and that is -30. I think that should be enough in this lesson. You can now go back and do a similar kind of questions. Make sure after listening to my lecture, you should always go and do your homework. And also during the lecture, hit pause and try to work out these problems on your own. And I emphasize this again, you learn only by you doing it, not by just listening to me. Alright? So keep practicing these kind of problems over and over again. We will continue with the study of real numbers in our next lesson. Okay?